Okay, it's getting ready. All right, we are live. So hello and welcome everyone. My name is Jackie and I'm here with my friend Meri Davtyan, and she is coming to you from Texas, and she has this amazing tool and technique about sound and color therapy that we want to introduce to you today. So I'm really excited to have her here in order to share this experience with all of you. And let's start by, I'll just ask you, Meri, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you're at and how it is in Texas today?
It's actually very cold in Texas today. We have 40 degrees. Yes, it was pretty warm yesterday, but as you know, Texas, it fluctuates a lot. So, but yes, I'm excited to be here, Jackie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm in Colleyville, Texas, to be precise. So in the DFW area.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about because what we try to do on this video is to share with people inspiration and motivation that drives us to our self-care. Like what is it that ends up bringing us into the acceptance? Because I know a lot of people really struggle with finding time for self-care. Yes. And so when I meet people that are especially creating services for people that involve incredible self-care and healing, then I love to tap into that and share that with other people. So so go ahead and explain what you've got behind you.
So it's the Harmonic Egg. Yes. It's I don't think you can see inside because of the way I'm sitting, but it's the Harmonic Egg. It works with light waves, music frequency, vibration, and it brings the body into homeostasis. Its shape, it's a dodecahedron, which is in Greek, it means dedo, meaning 12, hedron, meaning faces. So it's a sacred geometry, which also 12 is a significant number. The 12 disciples, we have 12 months, we have 12 grades, the 12 systems of the human body. So it has a significant shape, which when you sit inside in the chair, it reclines in a zero gravity, meaning your legs are a little bit above the heart, which relaxes the heart itself. So it's a beauty. It's very healing, and it definitely does wonders for the body, for the mind.
What was it that got you into, like, how did you even get into the whole egg itself?
I myself I have been into a journey of my own. And I wasn't really sure why I went into this journey. And I kept from one thing to another. I started off, what did I start? Oh, I started off with simple thing, yoga. Then I wanted to get into, well, what is this all about? What is yoga all about? I wanted to get into the history of the yoga. Because I like to understand things in a little bit more of a scientific way, I should say. So I try to analyze things and, well, what is yoga? You hear all this talk about energy, this and that, but I wanted to understand the history of it. So I took a course, not wanting to, I wasn't planning on teaching it, but it happened where I started teaching it. So I teach the slower version, the Chinese version, the yin, and the meditation. Then it led me to be going to spiritual life coaching. then that led me to heart math practitioner. So it led me, one thing led me to another, and then meditations. I got into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, of course, and one day I was listening to, this is why the story is going so long. I was listening to Dr. Joe on Gaia, and because I've been following him for almost, I don't know, 5 years or so, I knew most of the things that he was saying, so I wanted to go into meditation. So I turned off Gaia and went into meditation. When I came back, I got back on Gaia, and it was Gaia Lynn who brought this beauty forward into our reality. And I never knew who she was, so that intrigued me, and I was like, well, who is Galen? And she was talking about how she healed herself with light therapy. She healed from asthma. She healed her vision with a light box. So I kind of listened to her, and I didn't finish the story. I didn't finish. She was with Meredith. What's her first name?
Regina Meredith.
Regina Meredith. Yes, she was on an interview with Regina Meredith.
On Open Minds, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I stopped the video and I went to search who Galen was, because I was interested. I was like, wow, light therapy. It was just this knowing of, okay, I need to know who this woman is. And I went and started searching her name, and the Harmonic Egg pops up. I was like, well, this is interesting. What is this? And because I just came out of my meditation, I was in a very clear mind. I was in a very, let's just say, peaceful place where I just knew that I have to have this egg. I never tried the egg. I never went to I don't know what this is, but reading about it within the few minutes that I read about it, or, an hour or so, whatever it was, I just stopped and I told my husband. I actually ordered her book. At first I ordered the book, I ordered the music, but I just knew that I have to have the egg, whether it was for my own healing, for my family's healing, for the DNA healing of my own ancestors, whatever it was. I just knew that I have to have the egg. So I spoke with my husband, and he, at that time, I just had my little one. So I couldn't go to the Dallas area, the Garland, which there is one location there. So I told my husband, do you want to go? I know I'm going to get it, but do you want to go and try it? And of course he did. And when he came back the next day, I didn't have time to talk to him. So the next day I asked him, I went into his office and I asked him, so how was the session? And he just started bawling. I mean, my husband doesn't cry. If you see my husband, which I'm like, oh, okay, you're having a release. I'm going to step away. I'm going to allow you to have the release. Well, you just answered my question. So sure enough, I contacted Gail. She wanted to interview before she sells you the egg she has. She wants to make sure it is used for a certain purpose, for the healing purpose. And that's how I ended up with the Harmonic Egg, Jackie.
That was awesome.
I was not planning on opening up the space, but another knowing that I had was it needs the energy and the consciousness needs to be raised in the area that I am. And we are matter, but we're also light beings. Mm-hmm. What better way to assist the body, to allow the body to heal with light and music? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we know music now is the frequencies of music do wonders, can heal the body. And I ended up doing exactly what I was put on this earth to do. I feel like, and it's just very very satisfying, very joyful to know that I am making a difference. I'm serving humanity, and all of whatever education I had, or all the certifications that I acquired, I was wondering, why am I doing this? Like, what is the purpose of this? I always ask the question. And I strongly believe you ask the question, you will receive the answer. And it brought me to this point, and I'm fully enjoying it.
I love it. I love it. It's so cool because you answered like every question I had right there.
I did. Okay. Well, that's good.
That was awesome.
That's good.
Because I was like, what is it that made you even want to share it with other people? And you just went right into that. So I love that you did. And I'm so grateful. I was just fortunate enough myself because my family is in Texas. And so when I go there to visit, I was fortunate enough to be hooked up with you. And I had also seen Gail on Open Minds.
Yes.
And was intrigued by it, but I had no idea there was one in Texas, And so when that happened, I was like, oh, this is fate. I'm supposed to meet you. I'm supposed to go experience this egg. And so I am, me, I am delighted. I have loved every minute of it. And I want to go a little bit, if you don't mind, into a little bit more detail so people understand exactly what they would be getting into. And also to let us know, like, I want to talk about like the color, like how colors are chosen, how music is chosen a little bit. And you don't have to go into big detail, but just a little bit about that.
Of course.
And then like how many, like these things are, how many of them, and they are in lots of different locations, so people can check that out. And how would they look that up?
Yes. So if they go to Gail's website, which is theharmonicegg.com, and they click on the locations, they will see all of the locations, actually now all over the world. They have quite a few. I know specifically in the DFW area, they have 3. There's one in Garland, the Colleyville location, and then McKinney. And then, of course, if you go to the locations, you will be able to find that.
Okay.
As far as the colors and the music, in my center, when somebody comes in, I usually have them fill out an application. I kind of look at it. It gives me an idea of what we're going to work on. But usually the first 3 sessions, and I say 3 because 3 is a very magic number. Of course, going back to the dodecahedron, the 12, 1 + 2 = 3. There is a reason why there is that. Not to say that from one session people don't see a difference. People do. But I usually try to also, before they go into the harmonic egg, I usually try to harmonize the heart and the brain coherence. It helps when you bring people from the beta state brain to the alpha, and then of course inside they go into they can go into delta or theta, sometimes gamma brain waves. But the colors are chosen specifically for what we're working on. So let's say if somebody has high blood pressure, for example, I would choose the color blue. It's calming, but blue also helps with many other challenges that they might have. For example, insomnia. Then we have, of course, the different colors for different things that we're working on. The green, maybe we're working on the thymus gland. So it all depends what we're working on. I allow my intuition to guide me as well. So when I sit in front of the person and we're going into a meditative state before they walk inside of the egg, then I pick up on that as well. And then, of course, the music, the piano, it assists with the autonomic nervous system. The drumming assists with the immune system, the flute with depression, and so on. So science now proves all of this. In real time, they can play a violin and it shrinks tumors. So they have all this different information that it's no longer just energy. That because a lot of people, when they hear about energy, well, what is energy? We are energy beings. So all of our organs, our cells, they vibrate at a certain frequency. So why not allow the frequencies and the light, which our photons are made of, why not allow the body to just balance the body? And the first 3 sessions, we work on the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic system, the parasympathetic system. Reason being is usually when you go out into your real world, when you come and we balance the body, and then you go out to, your job, your family, your dog, the body wants to go back to its known. So we get triggered by certain things because of all the times in our lives that we created this persona, or issues in our tissues, right? As yogis call it. So we want to balance that out, the autonomic nervous system, so we keep the body in balance. So you don't go back to being triggered by somebody that says a certain word, or sitting in traffic, or whatever it is, whatever it might be. And the healing process works. You are in the egg for 50 minutes. Those people, people might want to know how long, because that's the first question that they ask. How long am I in the egg? They're usually in the egg for, not usually, they're in the egg for 50 minutes. 40 minutes is light and music, and the 10 minutes is the silence. This is the master, I say, moment. This is where everything gets integrated. And because of its shape, and also it sits on a hexagon platform. The chair itself sits on a hexagon platform, which is another sacred geometry, the 6 sides. So it's the Nikola Tesla 369.
Got it. Yeah, that's a big, the 369.
Yes.
That makes sense. Wow. And so, and the other thing that I remember talking to you about was the fact that it's made out of complete wood.
It is. It is made out of complete wood. So wood doesn't hold any energy. And it's completely safe. Once you're in there, I always say one must experience it. We can talk about it all day long, but until you experience being in the egg, it's very hard to put it in words.
I almost felt like it was a cocoon.
Yes, and you are, when you're in the egg, you're really disconnected from the 3-dimensional world. So it forces you to go deep within, which a lot of times we get distracted. If we sit in our chair and try to meditate, we're still in the environment, in the known environment, and we get distracted. So it's hard for the body, even when you're sitting in your bed, the body knows when you're in the bed, it's time to go to bed. So it wants to go to sleep. When you're in the chair, you might want to read a book. It depends, whatever it is. So when you're in the egg, you have nowhere to go but to be in the egg. And it's almost like a rebirth. It really is. It's almost like a rebirth, and it's of course that you put in the equation the lights, the music, which is intentionally recorded.
Yeah, they said she was very specific about who she got the music from.
Yes.
And what the intention behind the music, which
and
I loved that.
Yes. And of course the hertz, right? How many cycles per second it's being recorded. So all of that put together, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, our bodies are.
I mean, you've been into the egg. Yes, you've been into the egg. So you might want to share your experience, maybe one of your experiences.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
How it felt for you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my first thought is sometimes people might be like, oh, I'm claustrophobic, I can't do that. But I think it just helps when you just shut again down the 3D. It's like when you shut down and just think, I am just sitting in a chair. I'm just sitting in a space that is allowing me to rest. And then if you can go into a meditative state, then you will be able to let go of the fact that you are in a confined area. And I think I only took, like, for me, it only was maybe a minute that I was like, oh, should I be nervous that I'm now like in this thing? And then listening to the music and all of that, I went pretty quickly into a meditative state. So I was very fortunate. But yeah, I can see how some people might find it a little intimidating at first, but it really was just so peaceful, so lovely. And again, because we are light and energetic beings, the body, at least for me being a healer myself, I was very in tune with what was happening. And I loved that. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I do want to kind of mention the fact that that you don't have to be present to do the sessions, because I've been working with you now how many months? It's been a few months.
It's been a few months, yes.
And we do it, and for me, we're doing it distance, where it's remote.
Yes.
So and I will be honest, it is amazing. The changes that I've been dedicating myself to doing this because I have found it to be incredibly helpful. So I do hope that people will, if they have an egg nearby, that they will go experience it. But if not, maybe try a distance session if there's just not one anywhere near them. Yes, I know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, thank you for touching on that. We do have distance sessions. We just ask that you send us a picture, and you've witnessed it, you've done it many times. And you can probably say how it felt being in the egg and not being physically inside of the egg. Again, it's quantum physics, right? It's the field, the time itself doesn't really exist. I mean, that's a whole another conversation that we can get into.
Yeah.
But it really makes a difference. It's self-care that all of us need to make sure that we take that time to connect with ourselves.
Absolutely. And the thing is when you're doing a remote session, you're actually taking the person's picture, you're putting it in the chair, you're closing up the egg, you're doing the actual session as though the person is in the egg.
Yes. Everything is the same way. Like, the only difference is your physical body is not inside, but of course your light body is.
Yeah, I go into meditation when you're doing it. I lay down I go into meditation and I can feel energetically when the music changes sometimes. I can feel, or not feel, I can actually hear sometimes what music is playing, whether it's animals or violin or piano or guitar or drums, whatever. And everybody would be different, right? But it's, yeah.
It's pretty amazing. I do, yes, I do like for people to go into a meditative state when we are doing remote sessions, because it does help a lot. It's holding the intention too. That's the key. It's you have another person holding your intention, which is a big one, because I don't think we touched base on that. So before you go inside of the egg, those people, people that haven't experienced the harmonic egg, we ask that you set your intention, and to be a clear intention. So that way, as me myself will hold that intention for the client.
Yeah, I think that helps too, because that's something that I know when I went into the egg, and even when I do the meditation here at home, I am focusing on that intention and that feeling within the heart chakra. And it's like anytime, if my mind does go somewhere else, I'm able to pull it back. It's kind of like with yoga and the breath. It's like if it goes off somewhere, you just pull it back to the breath. And with your work, I usually just pull it back to the intention that we set before I go in.
Yes. And this is just light and vibration frequencies have been used for thousands of years, right? And we're now, it's not in mainstream yet. The red light now they're using for pain, the blue light for they use the blue light for the acne, and for wrinkles and all kinds of stuff. So it's slowly coming back. But it's ancient wisdom. It's just with modern technology.
Right.
But again,
I'm so glad that it's made its way in. I'm so glad Gail listened to all of that insight and visions that she had in order to come up with this. And I'm so happy that you decided to bring one to Colleyville, Texas.
Thank you. Thank you. It really, truly brings absolute joy to my heart. Every client that walks in here, every being that walks in here, just to see the change just from one session. It's almost physical too, and for people to say how they feel and how calm it is and how peaceful they are just after one session. I can't explain with words how I feel within.
Well, that's why we do what we do. We take care of ourselves,
because you're an energy healer yourself, and you know exactly. You're amazing at what you do, so you understand all this. But it's not just the interesting. What I find interesting is even people that walk inside the egg, that let's say somebody bought them a gift certificate, or somebody asked them, you need to go do this, right? They didn't come here willingly. As in somebody brought them here. They weren't like, oh, I'm going to search to see if there's another modality of healing. Even people like that, it's amazing how just one session, the first thing they say is, when can I schedule my next session? Because they've never experienced the going within, I think. And this is, wow, what just happened to me? To see their face just light up, and then you have, of course, energy workers like you know exactly what to do. You walk in here, you're going to go right into it, right? You're going to go right into a meditative state. For some people, it's scary. They're like, 50 minutes in this egg, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, just go along with it. And then I open the door, they're like, has it been 50 minutes? So time,
That's cool.
again, time is a little different when you're in that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that it's just like meditating. Sometimes you go into meditation and it's been an hour and you feel like it's been 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, Jackie, and again, I meet people like you. I'm so grateful, I'm truly grateful.
Yeah. Thank you. It's amazing to be able to, and again, I feel like spirit had like lined it up ahead of time.
Of course.
Ahead of time.
Of course.
So grateful when things like that fall into place, and it's a nice surprise.
And thank you for doing this. I think I told you this before. I've never done this. So this is my first time being live or being on Zoom or so.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I'm grateful that you decided to do something like this and let us share your story and your information with people. If there are people that end up watching this that are in the Texas DFW area, or even people that are all over the world through our group page, if they want to explore a little bit more and maybe seeing pictures or anything like that, or getting in touch with you, how would they do that?
Again, they can always go to harmonicegg.com, and that'll give them the locations to get directly to me. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram, and I also, my webpage, I believe it's up. Last I checked, but they're still working on it. So my wellness center is called Your Divine Center. And they can go on yourdivinecenter.com and find out my information, my number, my email. Again, everything is in there.
Fantastic.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to meeting more beautiful beings.
Yes, exactly. Because so many people deserve that. So it's so nurturing. And really, it's changing my life tremendously. And I love to know. I'm so glad that you're there. Well, thank you very much for being live with me. I'm going to have you hold on while I go out of the live stream. And everyone that's listening, we really appreciate you tuning in. And if you have any questions, you can always contact either one of us. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.